Hello and welcome to Behind the Pixels. I'm Brandon.
I'm Weston.
I'm Moose.
And
This is our late night edition.
Yeah, late night. It's very late.
It would have started earlier, but there was a gas leak around the corner. Not even joking. We turned around.
Coughing.
I'm sorry, a coffee.
It was a coffee.
It was coffee.
So
I was
literally,
wondering where you guys were.
Yes, we were maybe 40 feet from your door, and I was like, we have to go back. This is bat country.
And we did.
And I got a coughing. We didn't actually have to go back. You just had to turn around and go 5 feet back.
Yeah. Pretty much just stopped. Make sure we saw it.
Which, so obviously what we're talking about here is Pokemon Go, which I'm sure every gaming podcast is hitting on right now. But got to be true to ourselves, and I'm definitely playing it. Brandon, you're not, right?
I am not playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, but you played Ingress.
I did not play Ingress.
Oh.
Did you ever have it at all just to see it?
I tried Ingress.
Okay.
I did
You
try
didn't
Ingress.
actually-
That
I did the
counts
same
as having played it.
I did the same thing too, and I didn't really play Ingress a lot. There were a lot of like tutorial opener missions, and one of them wouldn't complete for me. And when I get like a bug like that with the game, rather than
I get
reinstall
frustrated.
it, I just uninstall it and then never look at it again.
But especially if it's a mission. So what was Ingress's missions? What did you do? Because there's no missions in Pokemon Go. There's
Oh, it was
nothing
literally
you do.
like collect X sort of
that's all.
stuff around you to get on to the next thing. It was literally tutorial stuff at the very beginning, and there may have been stuff later. I don't know. Someone tell me if they know, because I got to one that just would never clear, and when I tried to continue to play and like go through those things, it was still there, and I was just like, I can play the game, but every time I'd start that one again, it would kind of set me back a little bit just to complete that. It was just a bad situation.
So I guess, as Wes said, we're going to be talking about Pokemon Go, but really we're going to be talking about augmented reality in general. Pokemon Go and Ingress were both made by the same company, Niantic Labs, which was a Google startup centered around sort of a new way to do a new way to do gaming and monetization. So they started out with augmented reality games, and it seems to be the only thing that they've done, because they've now made 2 augmented reality games. I don't know of anything else that they've done that wasn't an augmented reality thing. Ingress was a game. You had 2 teams. It was the Resistance and the Intelligence, I think, or something like that.
I don't know their names, but there are 2.
Yeah, one was an R, one was an I. That's all I remember. There were missions and stuff. Basically, you had a map overlay. Everything was in wireframe, and you would walk around and collect. There were these little, what do you call that shape? Oh, whatever. They were little like diamond shapes, things along the map, and as you got close to them, they sort of drew into you, and that was your experience. So you collected experience and had levels. And there
by
were
walking around in it.
Yeah, it's by walking around, and then you use that experience and some items that you could find or purchase or hack to create spires, and the spires or control points were how one team gained dominance over an area, and the whole game was to have one team control, I guess, everything, right? So where we are, I think the Resistance was in control of pretty much everything around here. So you would go to one of the opposing control points and hack them. And you had so much hacking that you could do before you had to go and recharge, either by waiting or walking around finding where them little diamond things. So that was the mission, basically, was to make control points and hack control points into your side. And that was also how you got more items, is by hacking the control points.
It sounds boring.
It was a very nerdy game.
Like, nerdy's fine, but it sounds like to me that the entirety of that game was walking. That it was just walk, and then you literally press a button.
Well, so
what's the game? Like, what do you do?
So it was more supposed to encourage you to form groups. So the spires had power levels, right? So you couldn't just walk up to a spire and by yourself take it down. I mean, as a level 1, if I put a spire up, anyone could take it down.
Do you just click on it, or what do you do to take it?
You had to, like, I don't know, there's like a little mini game you had to do, like tapping and stuff. It wasn't anything intricate. It wasn't that fun, really.
It's as basic as geocaching is, like when people compare geocaching to Pokemon Go, with the exception of simpler, because it's right there and you touch it and you're you're there doing the thing.
Right.
As opposed to, finding the
Having to actually
geocache,
look, yeah.
or here, actually playing the game to
I
do
love
the actual little
geocaches.
things.
Speaking,
No, I think that's great.
Does that count as augmented reality?
No,
Actually geocaching? No.
because
It's
that is just
informational.
reality.
Right, you're just getting information, you're actually finding the
Yeah,
object.
solving
in
a
there.
puzzle and going, but it's not. Nothing's augmented. That is just reality. at
There's
that point.
actually a thing
Yeah.
there. So you're just finding coordinates and getting the thing.
Yeah.
Now now we'll talk about this in a little bit, but going on to augmented reality, there is a new form of geocaching that is possible now
More
with
AR.
things like Google's Project Tango, which I'm really interested to see someone take that and turn that into a geocaching, like an AR geocaching thing.
Just like completely digital. Like
Yes,
fully digital.
yes.
So basically Pokemon Go, but not Pokemon.
Yeah. So the thing with Ingress is the idea was because as the higher level players and everyone like more people on your team could buff a Spire or a control point too. So the
Right.
idea was
Same
you
as
would get a
Pokemon.
group together and they would all go and hack it together. So Niantic Labs split off from Google late last year, I think, when Google when Google became
From
Alphabet.
So how do you split like that? What does that mean?
So Alphabet, they formed a new. I'm not a lawyer or any of that, so I don't know all of the specifics about it. But they formed a new company called Alphabet.
But like, do the people in there, are they just like, hey, we all together want to be our own company, so we're gonna buy ourselves
Oh,
as a
Niantic.
whole? Or
I think it was. It's probably more along the lines of we already have a company that starts with in Nest. We can't have two.
They do though. They do have letters that
They've got Google. They've got Nest. Sidewalk
I'll
Labs.
pull up the list. They have letters that
I think anything that duplicate like a lot of stuff is either in X Labs or Google.
X-Lax. X-Lax.
X-Lax.
That's not the point of this thing anyway, though. But
Basically, they made a new company called Alphabet, and then transferred the assets over to they made a new conglomerate Alphabet.
Interesting.
Well, it's really late at night.
Yeah.
Transferred all the assets, and then they said, "All right, Niantic, you can either disband or split off." And I guess the people said, "We're going to split and see how it goes." I'm not. They changed after they split. They changed the monetization in Ingress, and I have not played it since then, so I don't know exactly how they monetized it. But that's sort of I guess been keeping them afloat since.
You know what's really funny? The way that I and Carter and other people that I've talked to use the monetization in Pokemon Go is they use Google surveys. So in a way, Google's still paying them.
Right, yeah.
If you want to go around that. But it's funny.
Have you paid a lot? Like, even if it's...
I played none, actually.
Well,
I'm still
so
stocking up.
Google is actually still involved in Pokemon Go, even though Niantic isn't part of Google anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it uses the maps data, right?
Well,
Well,
I
that's
mean, financially. So they made a deal, and I don't know the details of it. I sort of skimmed it on Wikipedia, so I don't remember the exacts right now. But
Meh, it doesn't matter.
I believe, basically, I think Google set milestones and said, okay, if the game reaches these milestones, we're putting $30 million up for the company. So,
Interesting.
so...
Seems like they'll probably get it.
Yeah. Yeah, because Niantic, like I said, Niantic was supposed to be sort of this experiment in different monetizations and different types of games and stuff.
Yeah.
And so this was Pokemon Go. I don't know who approached who. I mean, Nintendo did the April Fool's Day joke of the...
Right, and everybody was like super excited about that idea.
Yeah, and Google,
Which is pretty
Google, yeah, so that was the Google Maps April Fool's thing where you could wander around and find the Pokemon, which... I mean, Google actually did that too. There were some people who have the Google April Fool's caught them all like badge too, because that was a real thing.
Yeah.
I didn't catch them all.
Which really meant you had to like fly around to a bunch of places because I don't think you could catch them all in a single area.
You could.
Could you?
Yeah, I know people who completed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I was only missing one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Which one?
Okay.
Mewtwo.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Should have gone to Area 51, bro.
Yeah. Come on, bro.
So talking about the augmented reality section of this, which is funny because for anyone who, man, there's so many Pokemon Go tips and places that say tips out there, and I'm finding that a lot of them are wrong. And that's an exciting thing in its own way right now, because one thing that Pokemon Go has reignited in people and society is nobody seems to understand how the hell it works or how to do anything correctly. And online on the internet now there is so many wrong things and things that are just guesses and incorrect and preposterous that
How do you know you're not the wrong one though?
Because I test it and it either works or it doesn't.
Yeah, or other people point out, no, we did this and it didn't work.
Right, like, and there's like stories online. There's a story where two dudes, I think, went out. No, it was a group of people. It was like 3 or 4 people went out and they were cycling who got to catch which Pokemon. And then they were going. There was like a Squirtle that appeared. This appeared day 2 of Pokemon Go.
Like super early.
Really early on. And the person, they were cycling catching them, and they were looking for a Squirtle, and then they heard an old man. They were like, "Oh no, the Squirtle's gone!" And an old man came out from behind the shadows and was like, "Haha, Team Rocket!" and ran off. Funny story, but impossible because the game doesn't work that way. And if
everyone can catch a goddamn Squirtle.
And if you were playing the game for even a second with a single friend, you would know it didn't work that way. So whoever made that story, no friends. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. No friends or wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably right, but I will also say it's hard to really like throw all of these things straight out the window because knowing how Google works, everyone from Niantic Labs is a spinoff from Google, so they were all Google employees. They weren't bought or hired.
What point are you talking about?
So, hold on.
Okay, I'll wait.
So the way that Google works is they're incredibly big on A/B testing. I think Google goes like all the way up to G. Like they'll keep testing so many different variants of things. So while the story you're talking about may be BS, I don't rule out that they have different versions of the build distributed out to people, where sometimes it works this way and sometimes it works that way. So some of these things that you're reading, maybe they have a different build than you do.
Well, and different things may exist, but the one he's specifically talking about,
it's not how the game works. Yeah. It specifically doesn't work that way. Yeah. It doesn't actually care about other people catching Pokemon that are your area. And if you have 2 phones, I've had 2 phones in front of me, and that second phone, it's always been my phone and somebody else's, but every single other person whose phone I've compared with mine has had the exact same Pokemon as long as my GPS wasn't utterly screwing up, which my phone is the same phone as Miguel's, but I'm on AT&T, and I very much seem to have the worst network. I've never realized how bad my network was until Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Because...
By the way, Verizon, we're not being paid for this, but my stuff's been awesome.
Well, and T-Mobile is working better, and Sprint is working better, so AT&T, step up your game, because I can't go running. I've known this for a while, but I can't go running and have any service at all in an area that's actually only about 100 yards from my old apartment, and in my apartment I couldn't get any service at all. And I barely get any service where I am now, and I realized that expands to about 75% of the town we're in. I actually can get 1 bar and make emergency calls, and that's it, most of the time.
You should switch to Google Fi.
I guess I switched to something because paying too much to have this garbage here. Yeah. And it actually is really affecting this game. I don't get as many Pokemon, I don't get as many things as anyone else.
Yeah, we were driving on the way up here, and he had my phone while I was driving.
I captured 5 on Miguel's and 1 on mine, and that's when I said, Miguel, stop. And that was the only way I got a Pokemon.
I mean, I understand what you're saying about the testing and stuff, but I'm just saying it's a possibility that...
No, I
because
agree.
The way, like, the cool...
That'd be really weird.
The tools that they have for doing A/B testing, like on the Google Play Store, and which was recently revealed also, is that they're not using the standard APIs for anything. They're using their Google internal APIs, which is why there was the big scare about, oh no, Pokemon Go's reading your Gmail. Yeah. But... Yeah, so, I mean, for all we know, they do have, like, little pockets of, like, because it's regional. A lot of the A/B testing they do is regional. So everyone in a city will get one build, and everyone in another city will get a different build and stuff like that. And they're definitely doing they're definitely doing phased rollouts because I still can't download it.
Why?
It has not been released for me.
Why? What is your phone?
No, it's
What-
not.
what's
It's not
the-
about my phone. It's a phased rollout. So they take a random sampling of people and say you can get it, and then they say
In
okay,
the Play
phase
Store?
2.
So the Play Store you
Yeah,
can't get it
I can't get it in the Play Store.
Wow, that,
Weird. Have you tried just loading the APK?
No, I haven't, but
You
I
should,
don't want
because
to.
that's how I got it.
Yes, I know that's how
early.
you got it. Which supposedly,
I just went in a Play Store and it was there and I got it.
yeah, because it's they're doing phased rollout, which is good
makes sense
considering
because
the
it's getting
servers
wrecked.
can't handle it.
It's getting wrecked over
Yeah.
and over again.
Which supposedly, I read on Reddit that they were going to ban, supposedly they would be banning people who were sideloading the APK.
No, that was a
Blank face.
that was they were postulating. That was someone saying like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I've been banned. I can't get onto it anymore." And it was just the servers.
Yeah. But, I
Great.
mean, it would make sense given that their servers clearly can't handle everyone
Well-
playing the game at once.
Right.
That came out of the idea because Niantic did ban people who were spoofing GPS data to play
Mhm.
Ingress and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
So, I think the very part of this, what I was trying to say, wasn't I trying to say tip or something? I don't remember.
You're
You
talking
were-
about
Oh, no, I
websites
we
with
were
remember.
bad
talking about
tips.
people putting out bad information.
Bad information. It's like being 12 again.
Mhm.
It's like being in elementary school. And
Yeah,
talking
when the
about
internet
Ocarina-
wasn't around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And talking about Ocarina of Time and be like, oh, did you know you could play as Zelda? You can play as Zelda if you beat the game in under 10 hours and don't ever see Sheik. And it's like stuff like that, stuff that's just
Or the more
blatant.
relevant, push the truck to get Mew in Pokemon.
right. Although missing no is a real thing, so that was kind of weird.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the pushing the truck to get Mew wasn't.
Right, and that was a really, really big one.
Everyone knew that one.
Yeah, everybody knew that one. Yeah. So it's been interesting because there's a lot of this as well. Like, I still haven't known anyone who did the Pikachu trick at the beginning, but that's because everybody just tried to get in immediately
Right.
and didn't screw around with
I
it.
know one person who claims that he did.
Okay.
I have not seen evidence of that, nor do I believe him.
What's the
Okay.
Pikachu trick?
So the Pikachu trick is you start the game and it gives you like 2 tutorials at the beginning. And they're not really tutorials. It's just like, click here. All right, see ya, asshole.
It really is.
But it 100% is. I don't even know why they bothered drawing Professor Willow or creating a character because he's so pointless.
It could have just been nothing.
That's
it's
there
just,
has to be a professor or it's not Pokemon.
Right.
It's just flavor
So
there, but it's
the deal
not
is when you
necessary.
start, it spawns the 3 different Pokemon, the 3 starters, classic starters, around you. And the idea is if you walk away enough times, also I've heard, you get Pikachu instead. That's a very rampant rumor. The one that a lot of places are saying is credible, but, I didn't do it myself, and I've never seen anyone who did, so I don't know. That's another one that I don't know about.
Anyone have any screenshots?
I imagine
I have not seen any screenshots.
I haven't yet, but I've only seen someone say it once online, and that person tried it. So the person I know. So.
Well, I've seen several places
I
online,
haven't
but
seen
but
anything
still,
else.
there's so many of these stupid tips, and like the only ones that are believable are the ones straight from Niantic that are there on their website. And they're like, go near water to get water types. It makes sense. Not all Pokemon will be available in your area. Different things like that. Nighttime and daytime have different Pokemon. It makes sense. We have so many Zubats here, man. It's
so many Zubats in
insane.
San Marcos.
It's bad.
Austin's supposed to be backcountry.
And
I know, right? That's what I was
my
saying.
friend who's in Austin didn't get a whole ton of Zubats for a long time.
Well,
which
my
is
friend in
great.
Bee Cave did.
Right.
Those
So,
should be Beedrills.
yeah, right? Weedles. Yeah, so I've been having fun with that. I finally remembered what the point was that I was trying to say way forever ago. So one of the tips that is universally true is that if you turn AR off, it means that it no longer tries to, if you're trying to catch a Pokemon and you have AR on, which is on by default, it turns your camera on and it tries to place the Pokemon somewhere in the world, usually on some girl's tit or your own dick. Those are the 2 locations I've seen it be in 90% of the time, which makes it really awkward. So I disable it. When you disable it, it just centers it on your phone, and you just throw straight, and it's much easier. The only deal is I have noticed it's a lot harder to do the spin balls because you only have this really limited window to do it in. If you actually do the spin balls and you turn left, you can do it much better. You can move the camera.
That makes a lot of sense. I never use spin ball because it's what, 10 XP?
I've heard, again, see, it's all heard stuff, but I've heard that it's and I need to try it, that it's much easier to get those spin balls. They're much more predictable. So you can spin it, throw it, and it'll just always, if you just always move the same direction, it'll work. But
is it only 10 XP extra though, right?
Also higher catch chance.
Really?
Yeah. But I've been trying to convince people of gameplay mechanics that are instantly, immediately provable. Like the circle. They literally tell you nothing at all about how the game works.
Yeah, you really don't. You have to figure it out or learn from someone else.
You have to figure it out. And so there's a circle, right? You're like waiting to throw the Pokeball, and there's a circle going bigger and smaller. The smaller it is, if you manage to throw it and hit that target, is a higher catch chance. But if you miss, it's obviously a much lower one. So most people try to get the circle to be the biggest, and it just gives you the lowest rank, which is nice if you get it in there. It's like nice, great, and excellent, I think, are the 3 ratings that I've seen anyways. And so a lot of people either try to get that circle to be the biggest it can or the smallest, but they don't hit inside the circle. And so they're like hamstringing themselves with how they play. And I've tried to convince a few people of that and be like, you're doing it wrong.
You're playing wrong.
Like,
wrong. You're wasting balls.
And I'm not saying this for myself. I'm saying you're going to be mad and out of Pokeballs and be like, well, now I have to go grind at the Pokestops and this game is stupid or whatever. I'm like, well, no, you're just doing it wrong. So
and you're grinding at Pokestops.
To be fair, it never tells you.
Yeah.
But a lot of this game is watching and figuring it out of how these relatively simple mechanics work. But they have little intricacies like that are enough to keep me interested.
Yeah, they're not immediately apparent, but they're not difficult to discover, play with, and grasp.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying it, but I do have to say I've only been enjoying it for 2 reasons. And that is, 1, all my friends are doing it, and it is fun to be part of that. It really is sometimes, especially when it's something innocuous. You know, if everybody's doing hardline drugs, I'm not on board. But
might need to find some new friends at that point.
Yeah, at that point, you're picking.
So what are we doing with this bag of cocaine I brought?
I thought that was baking a cake. That's flour.
I mean,
why'd you already store it all?
We can bake it into something.
You're gonna have a nose yeast infection.
Tasty.
So it's been fun for that. But the other one is that I've been exercising anyways, but it actually does give me just a little bit more to be like, well, if I go out and bike to campus is a little far for me to bike. Not real far, but mostly it's the uphill crap. That's why it's so difficult for me to bike up there, because I don't have a first gear in the bike that I fixed for somebody else that I'm going to have to turn in. So I'm going to buy my own bike soon. But it's been nice because I actually do 2-a-days now sometimes where I go running, but I can't go running on my trail because otherwise it doesn't count for anything. So now I'm finding new places to go running. And then I go biking at night, which was what I was going to do. If I didn't come here, like literally I opened up our hangout that we discuss when we're going to do showtimes and stuff like that. I opened up the hangout instead of just putting on my shoes and leaving, just to see, because Brandon posted something about editing or something like that. And then we were like, hey, let's do a podcast. Well, otherwise, I was going to be out of here on a bike.
And it's really funny that you said that, because I was going to get dinner, and I pulled up my phone, and I was going to open Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
But instead, I saw the Hangout, and so I was like, well, let me check to see what's in there really fast.
Yeah.
And then we decided in split moment that we're going to do this tonight.
Yep. Fate has convened. It's like 1:30 in the morning right now.
I'm just glad that you guys haven't muted the Hangout yet.
I did, actually. I just check it manually.
I haven't.
I muted it the other night. I was sleeping.
Mm.
But
on my phone it was off, so I mean like silent, so it doesn't bother me.
For some reason, I never do that, just in case.
I have quiet time.
Yeah, you can set that up too on the phone.
Yeah, it goes on a timer. Yeah,
so it actually shuts itself to silent.
I never know about any of these things. I just use it as a phone for the most part. I know, right? Pokemon Go's been the most use out of it in a long time.
It's hard to know about these things when no manufacturer seems to want to use stock Android, where it's built right into the settings right there.
Yeah.
Like everyone else
Mine doesn't
has
look
to,
anything like yours.
Yeah, you gotta have some crazy UI for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see myself getting into Pokemon Go. I mean, I understand why a lot of people are into it, but I don't think I'm gonna get into it for the same reason that I didn't like Ingress.
Is that the only reason? Don't you have other reasons for not liking Pokemon Go?
No.
You don't have any other hate for Pokemon Go?
I don't have any problem with Pokemon.
Or its user base?
No.
I do have to say, anybody who's listening to this, I'm sure you've been yelled at a lot already, but I see people who have been yelled at, and like I literally said something like, we really need to look here. I was behind a whole bunch of people downtown San Marcos, and there's these 2 guys in front of me and like 4 behind me, and I came up to one of the busier streets that you walk through, and it's the one, I forget the name of it every time. I think it's San Antonio Street, actually, where you turn right and then you turn left, but then if you kept going right, that'd be a one-way street, which is LBJ.
You turn, you're on San Antonio Street.
On San Antonio Street, yeah. So if you really want to look up, you can see where I was walking one day. But there's 2 guys in front of me, and I was like, oh, this street's a little tricky. We really need to look around right now. Plus, you need to look anytime you're going to be anywhere near a street anyways. And this one dude was like, oh man, the step got down to 2. And then he just stepped into the frickin' street, and a car came from the right and to the left, and I was like, car! And then he stopped and moved back. But I was like, if I hadn't said car, would you just died for a stupid Pokemon? Like, I am really into this. I'm really into this. I'm not dying for it. And all these people, you always think you're not going to be that person, but if you do not look up all the time, and I mean all the time, you should only glance down. You should never be staring at it
and walking. You don't need to.
You don't need to. There's no reason to do it. In fact, I have it in my pocket most of the time.
Yeah, it'll buzz.
And then it'll buzz, and then you're like, oh, and you can take it out. And for some reason, people are so obsessed with it right now that they just stare into their screen, completely unaware of what's going on. And that is maybe 80% of the people I saw outside. And you 80% need to step your game up, because you're gonna die. And then everybody's going to blame this game.
I think they need to step the game down. They're a little too up.
Their life
game. Their life game.
They're
You need to be better people.
Yeah.
Better at humans.
Yeah, I've been seeing posts online ever since it came out of just people. Apparently, these are people who have never been outside before or something. Like
that's a lot of jokes. They're just funny. I don't think
there's a lot of fake there's a lot of fake articles.
No, like there's been a lot of reports of people climbing over people's fences under their backyard to catch Pokemon, or littering people's yards because that's where a Pokestop is. Trash. Just going to people's...
They're discarded phones that keep locking up.
You're right.
Screw this phone.
I can identify with that.
People like...
There's a polywag across the street if you want.
Yeah, just like groups of people loitering outside businesses for Pokestops.
I've been playing the entire time this podcast.
Well, okay, so... yeah, I don't have it. I'll have to reboot, like always. So I will say that I am intrigued, and I'm not going to say the word disgusted, but annoyed on a consumer level by the number of people, including Hillary Clinton and our local police department and a hookah lounge downtown and everybody else and their entire mom who's decided that now's the best time to capitalize on Pokemon Go. Because
the Zukas downtown has a sign on their door now that says Pokemon are for paying customers only.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a funny sign that they found on the internet. That's not exactly their own thing, but that is funny. But especially because Zuka has nothing around it, by the way. So
no one's going down there.
So sorry, Zukas.
I'm just waiting for the day though where every single business in town has that on their door. It seems like it's getting really popular.
It's not.
So most
people are actually.
That's not why they're doing it. So the intelligent thing to do is to be aware that if you're a Pokestop, you get a ton of business. Mm-hmm. It's not really to the point. People don't go inside your business unless
that's the only
they're gonna. Unless they're but even still. None of the business... You would have to have like a Walmart in order for somebody to not just walk around your business's walls and get whatever is inside of it.
There's some places you might not be able to. Like, there's a few businesses in the square that if there's something kind of behind it, just randomly,
I've gotten
then you
everything
can't get
always.
through. Like, I've gotten everything there always, but I can kind of see it in a couple
I've been down there
places.
probably a combined 10 hours now, and I've never ever had to go inside a business.
I've never
or
had to
anything.
go inside one, but I know that there are some areas in town, if there was one to pop up, that would be a thing.
If you don't have to go inside the business, and the Pokestop isn't really helping your business.
Well, the Pokestops in the
It's
business...
getting people near your
no,
business.
Here's the
No.
deal.
No,
then
no.
you put a lure on it, and people then want to just sit at your stop. Lures make you immobile. Making people immobile means that they're going to chill around your business. And so the hookah lounge downtown he's passing out flyers saying that he's
He's going to pop a lure like
he's gonna
tomorrow
pop a lure.
all day. Like, he's going to keep lures up all day.
He's never stopped popping lures, actually, this entire
He probably
time.
hasn't, yeah.
I think he just keeps making new accounts. He may actually be paying money into it.
He said he was. Like, he told us that he was when we were down there.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't with us then, were you?
Yeah, I was.
I thought that was when I was with Hank.
God, he's been around like 100 times.
So
this
it
guy.
was that night. I wasn't with you then. It was like a night or two before then when we
Okay.
played. He was out there and he told us he was
Sorry,
spending so much money.
we meet up a
on
bunch
that.
now.
Yeah,
Which
The
is
days
fun. That's
blurred
why it's
together.
been fun. Honestly, I know this is going to die down. I'm having a great time right now, and
I've had fun like meeting people who are playing who are also Team Mystic. Go Team Mystic. Screw you.
No, Team Instinct, yo.
Nah.
Underdogs
Notice
are
how
the best.
Notice how neither of us who are playing care about Valor.
Yeah,
throwing that
I
out there.
actually, well, to be honest, the decision
Just to get the hate.
The decision was made for me by my wife and Carter, which always is a scary combination.
Very scary.
Good thing neither of them listen to this. But
That's what you think.
yeah, really. No, Katie does.
We're more than 30 minutes in. Even if they listen just for pity,
Right.
They will
They'll
stop by
close
now.
by now,
Yeah.
hopefully. But I wanted to be Team Valor, but that was just entirely based off of I like red, and I like the idea of Valor more than instinct and mysticism.
The car guy would like red.
My car is red, thank you.
Target's red. We were almost Valor. Like, we were almost going to be Valor for no other reason than at that very moment the White House was also taken by Team Valor. So we were just kind of like, okay, we'll be that team.
Yeah.
Because they must be cool.
Whereas
And-
Team Instinct keeps making Love is Love and Gay Sex Bot on top of the Westboro Baptist Church.
Which is probably the only reason why I would change a team now. If I could change a team, which I can't. But if I could, props to you.
Those guys are pretty
Because
cool.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so the walking around has been fun, but augmented reality, if we're speaking of that on a general term, I always wanted that to be a visual thing. And, like, Google Glass, right?
So that's what I at the beginning when I mentioned Project Tango, and
I don't know Project Tango.
So Ingress was purely in digital space. It wasn't overlaid or anything. So
Oh.
you had basically a
You did your
Google-
map.
Yeah,
it was in
it
your
was-
space, but that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like 90% of what Pokemon Go is, too.
Yeah, so
Right,
it was just
right.
it was just a skinned version of Google Maps with
Same
stuff
here.
overlaid.
Same
Yeah,
exact
same
thing.
with Go.
And then
Yeah.
Pokemon Go now has the AR for catching, where you can
Optional AR.
yeah,
But it's
the optional
totally
thing.
pointless.
Right,
It
but-
makes
but
it more difficult. because
it puts the digital thing in the physical space. So that's
right. So it does have the AR.
I mean, so
element
with
to it.
literally holding a sticker in front of your face,
That's not augmented reality. A
I-
sticker's a real thing.
I know, but it would be a very similar effect.
But like that's the levels. So you've got like ground floor, which was Ingress, and then you've got first floor, which is Pokemon Go, and I'm sort of holding out for top floor, which is all like digital space in meat space. Like it's
Yes,
just
that's what I want.
the convergence. And so Project Tango is a hardware project from Google's X Labs for mobile devices. Basically, they're going back to the 3D camera setup. So you have two stereoscopic cameras and a few other sensors and stuff.
like a 3DS.
Yeah, like a 3DS, but with a few other sensors and a whole suite of APIs and processing. It's actually got a specific processor for it as well, so it can do actual 3D space mapping in real time and put things in 3D space at the correct place instead of random crotches and tits.
Yeah.
And at the correct scale and everything like that. And at the last Google I/O, I think it was, they had like a bounty, like a reward thing for people to make ideas for games and applications and stuff for the stuff. And there was a phone announced this year that will have Project Tango. It will be Project Tango certified with the hardware and everything. So that's sort of the next level up from Pokemon Go that I'm looking forward to, and that's where the digital geocaching I think is going to be really interesting because it also shares all of that. It maps the area and takes a snapshot of all of the I don't know, the vectors and stuff. You know, the 3D map of the area.
Yeah.
So if other people, then you can download that 3D map without having to re-render everything and sort of save processing.
Yeah.
So the idea that I had in my head, because I'm sure someone's going to do this at some point, is the digital geocaching where you go around and you just graffiti walls or you leave little digital things in space and it goes up to the cloud and someone else is walking around and it comes back down. And so, I'm looking at this tree, but I pull my phone up and it's not a tree, it's, some crazy thing.
Yeah, well, it's just like, so one of the things that pulled me into that idea was the app that you can get where you point your phone at text and it translates it to different languages.
It's called Word Lens. Google bought that, now it's just Google Translate.
Right, and that is super cool. And it's super cool to see it in action.
That on Google Glass was amazing.
That really was.
I looked it on Glass. I got to see.
Yeah, I used Brandon's Glass and did that, and that was the only thing I was really super impressed with.
Yeah,
that I will say that was the only thing Rose.
That was the only thing on Glass that was worth it. Yeah,
but it makes that real. Like this is what they're trying to do.
Right,
they know that it's far off, but that was fabulous.
But
I tried it, and it was
it's
perfect.
still just that little, Glass. A lot of people did not know that Glass was this little tiny box.
Yeah.
Rather than
the prism, yeah.
When I saw Glass, I thought it was going to be the entire lenses.
Yeah, it's not
going to be that. And you know what I've wanted for forever in cars? The idea of what I thought the future looked like for cars.
Your HUD.
The idea that every future, this is what's coming thing says.
Yes, is the idea that you would have a HUD, but driving directions for your GPS would be literally overlaid in augmented reality. So when you have a right-hand turn, there'd be just like freaking, Need for Speed. There'd be a big right-hand indicator over there being like, you need to turn on this street.
Did you ever use any the AR maps, using Google Maps or other navigators with AR on them?
No.
Because it was literally that. You could actually hold it up with the back camera on, and it would actually show you the turn on the street itself.
Well, that's really cool.
It was really
I
fabulous.
don't want to have my fun phone. Yeah. I want it in my windshield.
Right, you want it in your windshield.
How expensive windshield
that exists. It was actually a really useful application of AR that I saw. But I needed to have a mount for the camera phone to be
directly
there,
up there,
so I could actually see it there. But it worked. That's
pretty cool.
And you could with it wherever you position it, you could also tilt the AR so it actually.
Is that still available?
Perfect. I'm sure someone still has it. I don't use it anymore because I don't have a mount to actually put it.
Right. I also probably drains a crap load of them. If I have my camera going and maps going and the screen on brightness, my phone's dead in 30 minutes.
Well, plug it in you're in your car. Just have it on the charger.
Yeah.
You don't have to have your screen at full brightness.
I have a 10-year-old car and a 25-year-old car. No, actually, that car's 28 now.
28. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have quite the ports that some people do.
Excuse me.
And actually, my newest car, which is 2012, is so base model. It barely comes with an aux port and nothing else.
So Project Tango would be, second floor. So you got your first floor for the camera with little pictures on it. Yeah, so Pokemon Go's first floor.
Walking around is most of the AR for this, I would say. Which I know that's not exactly augmented reality, but you're walking around in reality and it's going into the phone.
It's discovering the digital things in the real space.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Tango would be, the second, mostly because Tango is a better mapper.
Yeah.
This feels disconnected because it doesn't.
Maybe it does map. Maybe they specifically look for crotches and tits.
Maybe. But
wireframe.
But the reason why I wouldn't count Tango as top floor, and the reason why it's still not where I want AR to be, is because it's still a window. You still have to look through your phone to do anything with it. And
what are you thinking?
And I wouldn't really count Google Glass as AR either, because the prism the screen didn't have transparency. It was always opaque.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't overlay anything in the real world. The camera would record, and you would see a smaller version of the real world with stuff overlaid on it.
Right, that was weird.
Yeah, so that wasn't... I wouldn't really call that AR. It could do AR, but it wouldn't look right.
Yeah.
So, like, the level up from Project Tango would be HoloLens, where you have that immersive full view.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because you kept saying, like, window. I was thinking you were thinking that you weren't going to have to look through something. I was like, what, are you going to, like... brain chip yourself?
Well, yeah. So like
that's God tier.
As opposed to just holding up my phone or my tablet,
I
where I can only see wherever that's pointing.
Oh my gosh, we really need to have that be facial wear instead of holding, because I'm so tired even now. How many public events have you been to where people are just holding their stupid giant iPhones up? Not iPhones,
iPads. Yeah,
the entire iPad, and they're just holding above their head like. Oh man, if you do that at like a,
concert, oh my god.
If you do that at a concert, if you do that at a graduation or something like that, buy a phone. Camera.
Get a camera, get a phone. Don't do it with a tablet or a laptop.
Yeah, you can rent cameras also, and then digitally put it on your freaking thing, and it'll be great. It'll be way better. Yeah. You can have focus. It won't look like crap, and I won't hate you. That's the real bonus.
He's still going to hate you, and he's going to super judge you anyway.
I got the number of people at the last A&M graduation I went to who were just holding up iPads all the time. There was a guy directly in front of me, and he was holding it kind of far back to try to get an angle. I was so close to just pressing buttons on it, because I was right there, because the seating was below me, and I was right above, and I was like, I could just delete, get rid of all of this.
Delete pull-up porn.
Yeah, really. It's just old people are adopting iPads more than anything else technologically these days. They kind of, some of them skipped the phone phase and went straight for the tablets. And it's infuriating sometimes, because you kind of needed that middle step of the phones to understand, like, social faux pas of using technology. And I don't know, it's just really weird. I saw a guy recording himself and his family with the iPad in the front screen, and I was in the camera shot behind him, and I was being recorded for like 20 minutes. It's very uncomfortable. I didn't, want to be on camera for 20 minutes for this person. We don't even be on camera for this stuff. And
that's mostly my objection, though.
It is true.
Like.
I would be.
No, I'm with that.
You don't want to be on camera at all, like even doing the games.
Maybe
and stuff?
someday, but not.
You guys are such pussies.
No,
my mom doesn't even have pictures of me. Why is the internet going to get a picture of me?
It's true. My mom doesn't have pictures of me either. Really, she gave me all of the pictures. Actually, she didn't want to see it.
Wow.
Now everybody's going to think we're like horrifically ugly, just massive.
We're actually incredibly handsome.
You're not wrong.
We're what are those called? Muds.
We're just we break every camera with our handsomeness.
Is that what it is? Muds?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mutant. It's from a very specific
multi-user
databases. No.
What were what were those? Muds was a very old like online virtual community type thing.
It was an MMO essentially, but text-based usually.
Yeah.
No, somebody else will remember. Maybe it's Scuds or something like that. It's an acronym that you use for basically, I think it's specific to children who are mutated by nuclear radiation, and it's like sci-fi
mutants.
Yeah, but it's specific.
So HoloLens.
Oh, I know what you're trying.
HoloLens.
Yeah, HoloLens is it's where I want it to be visually, although you still have to wear this stupid computer helmet.
They need to make it stylish, man.
Yeah, you have to wear a computer helmet that's going to have to be plugged in, because there's no way it's going to power for very long.
Don't let me forget airplanes. I have something to say.
Okay.
Keep going, though.
Yeah. But the problem with the HoloLens is that it's not there tactilely. And I'm not saying I want to be able to feel the digital space, but the interaction with the digital space on that, you don't actually touch anything with your fingers. It doesn't have finger mapping. You have to do these weird gestures, like pinch gestures.
When are we going to get beyond gestures? I really wish it would just literally scan my hand or something.
The Magic Leap, which people have started like gluing them to the front of their Oculus Rifts. Like the Magic Leap does really high fidelity hand mapping. The Leap Motion. Sorry,
what are we talking about?
The Magic Leap is a different VR headset.
Yeah.
The Leap Motion, which is a little bar that does basically the same thing as Kinect, but I think it has more points of mapping. I'm not sure about that.
Higher resolution.
Yeah, like higher resolution. I think it has higher resolution mapping, but that people have started like taping that to the front of their Oculus Rifts for VR, and they can do hand mapping and stuff, which is really neat when you can see your hand moving around in VR. The only problem with that is it's in front of your face, and
so you can't see it.
Well, no. So the mapper's in front of your face. So if I move my hands over here, they're gone.
Yeah.
And like they're not just gone from my view if I'm holding something.
It just drops.
It drops.
Yeah.
Which is why the controllers are still better for that, even though they're not hands.
I didn't realize people were doing that with their Leap Motions.
Yeah, there's some games that support it.
So I have two.
I think Surgeon
two
Simulator
Leap
might.
Motions.
Oh yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
You should give me one.
Ooh.
Give me an Oculus too.
We should use both of them.
We should
just tape one to your one, like on both sides, so you have more range of your hands.
Yeah. Just link them. Let me just put them all over my head.
So where I'm going to get really nerdy here. Where I really want AR to be, though, is there was an anime that was in Japan and didn't make it to America called, I want to say Dino Coil. I don't know how to do, what are the long line accent over the L?
Oh, yeah, Dino.
Okay, so yeah, that one, Dino Coil. That was an anime about AR, in which the entire world and the real world and the digital world had basically fully converged. There were like digital creatures and digital people and little programs and stuff running around, and they were just everywhere. They were jumping on people and everything. Like there was no distinction between where the physical world stopped and the digital world started.
Right.
And you could see there was really cool points in it where like there's like a wall that this character is walking along, and there was this like break in the wall, but it wasn't a break in the wall. It was a break in the digital space, and it just looked really cool. So it's just like encountering that, and then like exploring through this whole digital. But before we can get to that, we have to be able to actually map our hands and everything, and be able to interact with digital objects.
Right. It's the things you see in Iron Man and stuff like that, where he grabs things and throws them.
Right. Yes.
Or Minority Report.
Yeah.
Two things. One of them, have you seen that video where it's basically just a guy sort of showing what could happen with augmented reality, where he gets on a bus and it's just full of ads that specifically know who he is and things like that, and then those have been coming out for a while now. There's a really good recent one.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I've seen that one. It was really well done.
It's got a dog that follows him around and convinces him to buy stuff.
Yeah,
and then he dies. For whatever reason, I forget. I haven't seen it in a while, but it was interesting.
I'm pretty sure I remember which one you're talking about.
Okay, so the real life thing, airplanes, our latest ridiculous boondoggle of an expense report. I probably already said this on the podcast, but the F-35.
I think we talked about this once.
Once, yeah, is ridiculous. But the helmet that they use. They make it completely out of carbon fiber. And I don't remember the price point on it, but it's more than all of my vehicles combined times 3. I
would have to be.
Yeah, but it's got AR in it, and part of what it does, or at least what it says it does, is when you wear it, you actually can see through the bottom of your aircraft, and through your instrument cluster. So you just have to kind of do a gesture or hit the switch in order to just drop out all of what's beneath you, including yourself, so that you can see fighter jets that are below you, because that's a humongous blind spot in fighter jets, is being directly below. Your radar barely detects them. You have you can't see them, you can't hear them, you can't tell from the air where they are. You're just totally blind. Now, and you can also look straight up, and it'll fade the screen so that you can look straight at the sun and see if there's anybody up there, which of course is an old World War II tactic of dive bombing you from the sun. It also will show, it's supposed to show estimated missile paths, as well as prediction of incoming missiles, where they're coming from. It'll highlight them, zoom in, and you'll be able to rotate your aircraft, and it'll show projected lines of your aircraft and how well you're actually avoiding it. As well as it's supposed to try to do machine gun paths, but nobody thinks that's going to be a real thing. Nobody can predict bullets. It's just not a thing.
They just go straight.
They're too small. You can't see when they're shot, so you would just be like, is it shooting machine guns at me or not? And the AR is like, I don't know.
Somebody was shooting from back over here.
Yeah,
you probably
missiles
found that
you
out
can
before
tell.
I told you.
Missiles send out radar signals, so you can detect those.
This is the U.S. release of Deno Coil that didn't get released here.
When did that get released?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have been waiting for that. I've been like
3 weeks
Googling
ago,
it for
I guess.
years.
Oh, no new microphones for us, I guess.
Oh, man.
It's only like $38 for the
In that
first half.
case, since it's now in the U.S., I highly recommend, if y'all are into
Coil.
where AR needs to go, watch Deno Coil.
Actually, it sounded kind of scary what you were describing to me. It'll never happen, I don't think, even like for humane legal reasons. But man, I hope humanity never creates fully immersed environments, especially ones where you can leave your body behind.
So
Like full virtual reality where you plug in. Like the
plug-in
Matrix,
kind.
things like that.
Yeah,
Sword Art Online, whatever.
I'm not looking forward to.
I never want that because I want it too bad. And I
Yeah.
know life is gone.
Well, so
moment I do that.
that's one of the ends of civilization. So there's
Right.
the what do they call them? Oh, God, I can't remember the word.
I know what you're
the
talking about.
hurdles though. So every civilization goes through phases, and so there's the hurdles.
This is the paradise hurdle.
Yeah. So one of the hurdles is basically paradise and avoiding it or getting out of it, and I'm not looking forward to that. But
But I am.
You want it, you just don't.
Yeah,
want it.
yeah. I want it. I want it, and I know
you just
it'll
know
be
that
bad.
you shouldn't have it.
Of people who talk about addictions and drugs and things that are like, oh, I got to stay away from that. Man, if that comes out, I have to be like,
Moose.
we're pretending this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have like a fail. I'm gonna have to go hermit style, and be like, no, I have to move to like the South Caribbean, and we're never touching electricity again.
Yeah. I would be okay with it under normal circumstances. The problem is we've already shown how well we are at monetizing things that don't exist, which means that once we create this system, it'll be the new internet. We will have jobs in the virtual space where people will just they really won't have to leave. Like right now,
If I could actually work in the virtual space, man.
yeah, like
Now, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
If everything that you made money on or made money doing had to be a real thing, we weren't buying software or anything like that, then virtual space would work because you had to leave virtual space to continue paying your bills or whatever. But
Some people didn't.
Yeah.
Some people.
But if your electric gets cut off, then
Well, no, the deal is it's people who find themselves in specific situations, like their parents pay for stuff or they leech, off of someone else, and then you get the Chinese kid who dies playing EverQuest, and man, I remember that being such a big deal. It's happened. It happened more than once.
Lots of things like that have happened.
But World of Warcraft has claimed like 30 people that way, at least. EverQuest claimed like 3 max, and 2 of those were questionable. 2 of those actually looked more like heart attacks than failures.
I'm going to blame that on EverQuest still.
Yeah.
They got into that condition somehow.
One guy committed suicide. He lost all his gear.
That skeleton laughing, though.
I love EverQuest. Yeah, but that's what I was thinking. Like, man, if I was fully immersed in EverQuest, just full body experience into that world, I'd never never leave. Why would I?
Yeah.
It's, this is, I can be who I want to be at any moment. That's a risk. There's been a lot of cool movies about that, though. I actually really enjoy exploring that genre.
Yeah.
There's one with Bruce Willis that was not exactly that. It was more like they had fake bodies. Have you seen that one?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't even remember the time frame of when it came out, but everybody had...
Die Hard.
No. Everybody had fake bodies that they inhabited. Like you created an idealized form of yourself, and everyone made fun of Bruce Willis's body because he looks basically just like himself. A little bit fitter, so he could, because he's a cop, right? Because he's always a cop. Why wouldn't he be a cop? But he loses his, or he doesn't trust the company that makes them or something, and so he leaves and uses his real body, and it's a huge faux pas. But like his wife has this really sexy puppet or whatever you call it, and he's like, I want to see you. I don't want to see this thing. And she's just like, this is what's me. That thing in the bed is just my mortal coil. This is what I'm truly about. I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it had some really interesting... I'm going to say overall it wasn't a great movie, but it had some really great ideas. Here, I'll look through it and figure it out.
There's another anime, though. There's another anime called Paradise Lost, which is also about that scenario where everyone goes into the virtual world and just sort of decides to live there instead. That one's pretty interesting.
Surrogates. That's it.
Surrogates.
Yeah,
Okay.
2009. That's what they were called,
Okay.
surrogates. It's interesting.
What, you're mutants?
What?
Or
No.
the movie?
The movie I'm talking about with Bruce Willis. Not real well received. Like I said, it wasn't actually like the story and everything wasn't real interesting.
Was that based off of a graphic novel?
No idea. My dad used to rent things randomly, and that was one he got. And I was like, that's odd. Oh, and we got another one at the same time that was the exact same idea with
It was
Gerard Butler, where it's ex-convicts who are controlled remotely in a video game system.
not ex-convicts. It was current convicts.
Game
Convicts, yeah.
Like they were like because they were going to be able to kill each other.
Right,
That
that was
it.
the deal.
Game something, right? What was that movie
Gamer.
Gamer,
It
yeah.
was literally called Gamer.
Yeah. Didn't they do a Gamer 2 or something?
I hope not.
I watched...
Yeah. Surrogates was based on the comics graphic novel.
Makes
I watched
sense.
some
Think
of
I've
Gamer,
heard
but I can't remember if I watched all of Gamer.
I watched all of Gamer. You didn't miss anything.
That's not really
Yeah,
a
it
virtual
wasn't
world,
good.
though.
No, but it was augmented reality.
No.
Yes, it was. He saw. He saw through his own eyes. Just like things would pop up that said like power up and M4 here
that's
and
right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
I
it was
forgot about-
always present.
I
but
forgot
he
about
had-
the game part of
did
that.
Yes, the game part of it.
Did he see it, or did they just see it on the?
The player saw
the
it.
player
The player
saw
saw.
it.
I think the guy
Because
saw
the player
it too.
directed him
No.
to the thing, though.
That's right. The player would talk to him, tell him the augmented reality crap he saw,
Right.
and then he'd be like, "There's an M4, there's a rocket launcher up
So
there." And he'd
it's
be like,
still- slightly-
I'd still count that because it's digital things.
It's still through a window.
overlaid.
It's through a
Right.
window.
Right.
So
it's
it
not
still
full
counts.
AR, but it's still
Yeah.
it's still
It's just
a
that
level of it.
the camera is a body.
right.
It's just a human.
Yeah. Oh man! And in Surrogates, there's a section of it where it's The Sims, but it's so strange because, like, I just told you the premise of that, right?
Yeah.
Where they're in bodies that they don't, idealized bodies. This Sims game that they create, it has no bearing on the story, and I don't know why they spent so much effort other than to have a weird raver club 60s retro sexy place. I'm pretty sure that the director just wanted to actually go there. It was probably important in the graphic novel, and they felt it was important enough to include, but it's no good for the story. But instead of renting a surrogate body, you rent a person's actual body.
Man, you're reminding me of another anime, but I can't remember
I'm
the name of it.
sure anime is
I'm sure
all
someone's
in
done
there.
it, yeah.
They churn out like 150 of those things a year. There's
A
got to be one
season.
that hits on
A
everything.
season.
Yeah, a season.
Mhm.
So
What was the name of the one I'm thinking of?
You'll find out by the end of the show.
We'll find out.
You can throw it in there later if you want to.
it was odd because like one girl essentially she rents out her body and then it has this UI interface of choosing what clothes she's going to wear. and it has this really, really Sims heavy feeling to it. It felt like somebody played The Sims and then made like this weird real life mock-up of it. That creeped me out. But it had AR parts to it also, where you could be like, that's your friend, and it would show a beacon over them. Excuse me, burped. So, yeah. There's been a lot of these movies that kind of explore weird augmented reality stuff of the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I care about AR that much. I would really like it in my cars and utility-wise. But talking about gaming, I like this Pokemon Go. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of gaming for AR.
Applications. I could see somebody coming up with something that's very... Like, Pokemon Go is like 95% trading on the demographics nostalgia. Like, honestly, if this wasn't the original 150 Pokemon, I wouldn't be in. I don't know them.
Yeah. I mentioned this earlier. I think the one thing I would love to see happen is something similar to a Fatal Frame type game as AR.
Yeah, Fatal Frame.
I would play the crap out of that.
I would play that too.
I would go and catch ghosts and be scared.
At nighttime, man, we would go around catching ghosts. Man, gotta make that. That would be blockbuster.
I think it is.
Yeah.
So block this out so no one hears it so we can do it. And,
man, this idea would be such a good idea.
I wish somebody would
Yeah, I mean, AR for games, I mean, it works fine for things like Pokemon Go and Ingress, but a lot of the things that we want to do in games, for it to make sense in AR, it has to affect the real world.
Right.
Like,
and
I want to have
humans.
Yeah, I want to have a battle game, so I want to be able to blow up cover and do stuff like that, but if I shoot a virtual rocket at a physical cover and nothing happens... And then some guy behind the cover goes, "Oh, you got me." Like,
well, also the idea of making AR... gaming in public is a totally different matter from you gaming in the comfort of your home. And I'm not talking... Or a private place, right? I'd really like to see AR places that are like Laser Quest. Like Laser Quest finally phases itself out, and instead they get some augmented reality stuff that's really cool. But it'd be very specific to where they are, and you manually place objects instead of having to scan everything and throw things in randomly. This is going to be a very controversial statement that doesn't always hold true even to myself.
Do I need to set a timestamp for when to block out the audio?
I hate all races. No.
Yeah, Mario Kart,
Need for Speed, it's all bad. No, what? And now
save that one.
Now I think procedurally generated content is always worse, than content made on purpose. Now, that's not saying you can't find the best procedurally generated game and then compare it to something a 5-year-old made called Hit Things with a Stick, but...
A couple of episodes ago, though, we were talking about a procedurally generated game that you really loved.
That's why I said it doesn't even hold true for myself. But my favorite games, none of them are procedurally generated.
What about Fire in the Water? Flood in the Flame.
Flood in the Flame.
Fire in the Water.
No, it's good. And it actually has a lot heavier... So, it's only kind of procedurally generated. Like The Long Dark is only kind of... And that's where I think that belongs. But you get into Minecraft, and man, I had a ton of fun in Minecraft originally. But then I realized that all the fun I had in Minecraft was just making my own game, which was The Sims with blocks, right? And
I'll agree with you. 100%. You can't 100%.
I'm not saying they're worthless or anything.
Well, yeah, but if you do 100% procedural generation, then you can't really put a game into that. You're making a sim, which is what Minecraft is. It's a block sim,
right?
But
so what I'm saying,
No Man's Sky, that can't be 100% procedurally generated. It's got some stuff that's scripted, but even
I seem
then,
to be the only person not excited for that game. I think it's gonna bomb.
Well, I haven't played it.
You're just betting on that.
I haven't played it yet, but like the last few things that I saw of it, I'm already starting to I'm downing my hype because I feel like they may have procedurally generated too much of it going to what you say.
I know. I keep looking at their content and people who are really excited for it. I'm like, what are you most excited for? Or what's the thing that really catches us as different? And they're like, you can explore millions of planets, man. And I'm like, I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
I need
You
these
don't have
5
time for
planets to be really exciting for me.
Yeah.
What's going to make these 5 planets exciting for me? What's going to guarantee that I like... I don't want to go to a planet and spend all that effort and be like, oh, this one generated dumb.
Yeah.
You know, like...
If you're going to build a game around something, at some point, it can't be procedurally generated. There has to be specific things for me to do.
Unless you make a game that makes games.
Right, I guess. Like... So, yeah, unless you're making a sim or a game-making game, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't procedurally generate it 100%, but you can procedurally generate elements of it. And I think I think that actually enhances some games if you do it the right level.
Yes, I agree. Well, I say this every time, it's sliders, right? But
Sliders.
The sliders, they're back.
Everyone take a drink, sliders.
You wouldn't get that drunk. So I guess that's good. Moderate drinking.
That's right. Power blocking the podcast.
Yeah, really.
While moderate drinking.
Yeah. No, but when it's what they trade off of, and when it's what they put on the box, it's an instant turnoff for me. I immediately think, you might have tried really, really hard. And it's obvious, like people like Starbound, Terraria, Minecraft tried really, really hard to deliberately control how these random biomes for them to make sense, for them to generate content that is good and interesting, and No Man's Sky may have done that, but all I keep seeing is how random everything is. And it's like when I was a high schooler, right? I don't know if that was where you guys were in high school. Well, high school was weird, but being random meant that you were always original, right? To take a line from Bo Burnham, which, by the way, somebody hilariously, Carter, of course, has hilariously labeled what Bo Burnham's Make Happy is to me. It's my Frozen.
Oh.
Everybody, how obsessed they were with Frozen and singing them all the time. That is me with Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham said original does not mean good.
No.
And so random, it meaning original in this context, because, there's always new content. There's always original content. Doesn't mean it's good. That gives me 0% guarantee. You know, there is no guarantee at all that content will be good just because it's random. It's controlled randomness, and how controlled matters, but that procedural stuff, just every time I see it, I'm like, I would much rather have a story and an environment that maybe it's only 8 hours long, but if that 8 hours is like Shadow of the Colossus, I'm going to hold on to that for years. Whereas Minecraft, I can't remember anything I've ever done in Minecraft, and I've played hundreds of hours in it. I remember one time I followed a blueprint that I found online to make a train station. That's about all I really remember. Bits and pieces here, digging into a wall, but nothing made me think about what I was doing or morality or I didn't hold on to anything in my life from Minecraft. Like it doesn't mean anything to me. So, not that all games have to do that, but even like Tetris, I have lots of fond memories of Tetris.
Yeah, morality, discussions about Tetris.
Well, that's what I was saying as a contraposta.
Mr. College over here.
That was like the most incorrect usage of those, which wasn't even the right words.
No.
So, no. Mr. Failed College here, sure. But No Man's Sky being that, and bringing this all the way back to what the heck I was trying to say. Pokemon Go being so random as it is, so uncontrollable. I was talking to
What's random about Pokemon Go?
They just randomly spawn everywhere.
No, they don't.
They have variances, but you have like 5 random Pokemon spawning around your house right now. It's random. You don't... why would there be...
They're not random. They're seeded from Ingress.
Sure, but a seed is just a start point for, in quotes, randomness. Well, it's a generation based on an algorithm, but it doesn't mean that it follows a logical planned sense. A developer did not say a coughing needs to appear behind your house.
But, okay, sure, but... Sorry, I'm a programmer. There's a distinction between random and algorithm. They're not random. There's an algorithm. which is also not the same as procedural generation. They have map data from Google. There's an algorithm based on the map data from Google and Ingress and all that.
So that is a very finite programmer point, and it means jack shit to people who aren't programmers. Well, I know the programmer point you're making. I've programmed and I've followed that.
Here's the point you're trying to make.
If
it's random, that means that there will be a chance if I sit here that a Gyarados will be able to be captured outside his house.
You're not going to get...
It's true. So none of that stuff's really known anyways, but there is a chance for this stuff to spawn.
I'm not sure if a Gyarados will ever spawn here. I'm not convinced.
But there will be for my house.
Possibly.
But nobody planned that. Nobody thought about that. They just wrote a program that seeds things that they don't control. All they do is plug it in and it throws something out, and they don't look at the result and they don't look at the input. So there's no human touch. It doesn't matter, and a computer's not sitting there thinking it through and being like, "Well, this would make sense and this would make sense." No, but it's random in terms of functional. It's functionally not the outcome is not predicted, and not controlled, and not totally predictable. Therefore, there's a random element to it in terms of the actual literary term "random." So.
Except it is predictable. It's an algorithm. I mean, if you really followed the algorithm all the way through, you could predict what would happen.
But nobody does, and nobody used that to design anything. They just... Algorithm, done. I'm done. I didn't design that. I didn't think... If there was a... For instance, if there was a mechanic shop, and mechanic shops is where Coughings were, how fucking cool would that be? If, you had... libraries and specific things spawned there, and it was controlled in a much more interesting way, and you literally had to go out to an arid environment in order to find or like the beach to find sand shrew or something like that. It would be much more compelling to me rather than I just walk 20 feet and things that don't make sense because an algorithm just spat them out and nobody gave a shit. Oh, Coughing here. Oh, Oddish here. Oh, 1.5 million Zubats here. Oh, Rattata. Oh, Squirtle just showed up. Oh, Charmander there. Oh, Electabuzz here. But nothing mattered.
I get what you're saying, and I have the same complaint, but I don't think the complaint is random or it's lazy algorithmic.
Undesigned.
Yes.
Undesigned would be the best.
Yeah. I'll use that term.
Using that as a lazy way to create a lot of content.
The population, the content.
Like Borderlands 2 with its 7 billion guns. It didn't have 7 billion guns. It actually had 20,000 guns.
High five?
All on a spreadsheet.
Every time somebody says that about Borderlands, and that's why I like it, my opinion of them is rock bottom.
Yeah, they actually in the studio have a spreadsheet of all the combinations.
Right.
And it's not 7 billion guns.
Well, and it doesn't matter. They're so the same.
There's
four similar.
Yeah, there's 12 stocks, 12 barrels, blah blah blah. But that doesn't really produce a different gun.
Functionally, there's a dozen.
There's
maybe.
a dozen different guns that feel
right.
different.
I think there's models for a total combination of 27 guns or something like that.
Maybe something.
And then the rest of it is just stat buffs or special abilities that they grant.
Right.
And so I kind of look at that as okay, so you made an algorithm and you just sort of threw that in there as a lazy way to add content. You're right.
Yeah.
They didn't vet any of that.
We're on the same
other
page.
than a few of the specials.
We're just having semantics issues.
Versus programming versus design.
Lazy algorithms versus actual design. It's not random though. It's the wrong word.
I don't care.
You're giving people the wrong impression.
That's why I explained it.
Yeah. But no, I'm with you on that. I don't like that.
We still haven't achieved true randomness anyways through computers, have we? It always has to have a generation point.
Quantum randomness now. If you have a warehouse to dedicate to it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's at least fair, what was the dot random generator for Java was just based on the time of day. It was like this.
Yeah.
It was like the nanosecond clock going off was the original generation point for it.
It's seeded based on the CPU ticks.
Yeah, which was always interesting.
Now you have a random processor in your computer, usually.
What an odd idea.
It's really just a thing, like the thing on computers nowadays that generates your random number. This doesn't matter.
It's fine. We'll skip ahead. It actually, if it sounds interesting at all to you, I would look it up. It's a good read to figure out the history of randomness in computers. Yeah. And as applies to games, it does apply to games. Man, when you do like random dice rolls, I hate Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl is the most fun game. I think I mentioned it.
I don't remember us talking. I don't know what you're talking
about.
Blood
Bowl is my favorite game that I will never ever play ever because I hate it and I want it to burn in hell.
On PC, so you'll play the miniatures.
Well, yes, but I also have. It is known amongst you and many others that my dice rolls, if they are going to benefit me, are going to be terrible. And the moment they're going to kill you guys as part of a DM, they're pretty good. I crit a lot when I'm a DM, but then when I'm a player,
But continue with Blood Bowl, because this is an important point that you told me about this, which is why I haven't bought it.
Blood Bowl, they valiantly defended on their own Reddit the randomness of their generations. But some players have put together statistical probability sheets based on the algorithms they said they used. They didn't actually give you the algorithm, but they said these are the chances. And they said, all right, so statistically, when you take 1,000 games and you play them according to these statistics with the exact same teams versus each other, Wood Elves versus Wood Elves, and you as the player play it, and it's entirely about, there's tactics, but there's not a lot of tactics. It's mostly dice rolls. And you play it out, you should win 50% of them, all else being even. If you're using the exact same people and the exact same things and the exact same tactics. I think the players even mirrored the move of the other dude to play through, which causes its own problems. But anyways, they did the best they could. And they lost something like 78% of the time. And it, highly statistically improbably. And not only did they lose, they got more players killed on their own team because they can die. You normally ramp them up. You're leveling up your team and leveling up your people. And that's how you win, is in the end of the game, you're supposed to snowball. When you start out, it is the hardest game that's ever been. And when you're beating it, it is the easiest game ever. They have the completely opposite of a difficulty ramp. And it's because their statistical rolls just kill you all the time. And they'll just, oh, what's that? It's a 1 in 100 chance 3 times for this player to die. He dies. Every time. And you're like, it's like it has an evil meter. And it just is like, it's been too good for too long. I never went 10 minutes without being totally screwed by something that shouldn't have happened. XCOM's randomness. Have you heard of this? This one's quick. XCOM lies to you about its randomness, but it's actually very kind. When it says you have a 0% chance to do... when it says you have a 1% chance to do something, you actually have an 11%.
You're talking about new XCOM.
Old one also. They both actually do. It depends on what difficulty you're at. Also, if you're on easy difficulty, they already literally buff up the percentage chance that it tells you, and then behind the scenes, they buff it up even more. So if you have an 80% chance, you actually have a 90% chance. But if you play on expert, it lowers it a little bit. I think it lowers it by 5 or something, but they found it in the code that it literally is just like player dot remove chance, because they found that, and it's very true. If you tell somebody that they have a 50% chance and they lose that 6 times in a row, they're going to be furious that it says 50% chance, right? But it is. Every single time you are just as likely to fail as to succeed. A percentage chance doesn't change just because they've done it several times. That's a gambler's fallacy.
Yeah. I'm going to hit that because I've lost 3 times in a row. So
it's a new generation every time. So unless you're doing it where it's like, oh, I have 3 choices, and then you knock one choice out, now it's a 50-50 chance. Now you've increased your chances. But if it's 3 choices every time, and it's the same 3 choices every time, you're going to get screwed. Like a 33% chance is a chance you should never take, basically. Anything under 50% is a chance you should never ever take, and 50% only when it's dire. But XCOM players don't know that. When you're playing that game, it doesn't feel like that. So they screw with the values and lie about it so that players feel better about the chances they're taking. Which, to be fair, that game is really unforgiving. So so it's been interesting to see that, because players are like, yeah, I made it through, and you're like, try it on expert. or normal
got
at
some
least,
help.
where it
Yeah.
actually you got
You
help.
got some help.
So I found that interesting. But I wish Pokemon Go had a lot more direct gameplay. I wish it had missions. I wish it had.
It's got gyms, right?
It's got gyms, but I hate gyms. They're stupid.
Can you actually battle the gyms, or is it
You
automated?
can battle the gyms.
Battle gyms.
And you well, okay. So it's tap, tap, tap for basic attack, hold tap for special attack, swipe left to dodge.
So not like Pokemon at all.
No.
No, not at all. Except for typing. If you use water versus fire, you can kill something twice as good as you. I don't like the idea of gyms. I feel like I'm missing something, in that someday it'll become clear to me. But I'm level 12, and everybody who's controlling the gyms around San Marcos is 20-something.
You can still take them down.
Yeah, you're missing 8 levels.
I can beat them if I get a posse together, or if I have very specifically a type. But if there was a level 9 gym, and it had every type of Pokemon, and I know you can sort of wear them down.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. It's not just take them down.
Right.
You are lowering their prestige to force the lower Pokemon out of the gym.
But I saw an almost 2,000 Snorlax. He's just normal. I have nothing that can fight him. There is no way I can compete against him. And it feels like as this goes on, I thought the gap was going to get smaller because I've been keeping on it and still playing, and I thought other people weren't. I've really underestimated the free time of people in this area because I'm unemployed.
College students in the summer.
I guess so. They're even worse than unemployed, right? Yeah. You know, they're ultra vacationed. But man, they are wrecking, and I can't even get close. And I'm like, is this just going to keep expanding? Is that lead having that lead? I walk around. Why can't I do what everyone else can do? I'm like literally a lower tier player. I get less ability to do stuff. So the only game I can play most of the time is walk around, catch things, thus for no purpose, and
you make that living
and
Pokédex.
Get items to keep getting the Pokédex, which, to be fair, I enjoy. But I have no personal purpose other than that. Also ticks me off, I caught one gym and I held it for 6 hours. No reward whatsoever because I didn't claim it while I still had the gym. Who gives a shit? Why does that matter?
Yeah.
Why does it matter if I still hold the gym?
You didn't claim it, or you weren't the gym leader?
I was the gym leader. Carter got up in the morning, actually saw that I controlled the gym, and was like, wow, Weston's controlling a gym. I didn't even realize, because he saw his Team Instinct and my character on there, right? So he recognized me, which I thought was cool. I thought that whole idea was cool. He told me in the morning, like, man, you control a gym, cool. And I was like, cool. Went back to sleep. Woke up, didn't control the gym anymore. And I was like, I controlled that thing for at least 6 hours if Carter was seeing it. So let me get my reward. 0 reward, you don't have anybody in the gym. But my guy was dead and had been kicked out of it.
Yeah, you have to hit the thing while you're still defending it.
That's bullshit.
To get your, like, measly, 10 Pokecoins or something?
Right, and of course it's because you're getting the coins. Right, but if you control it for longer, doesn't it get better rewards?
I don't think so.
Oh.
You just get
then what's the point of controlling a gym?
Bragging rights.
Prestige?
Bragging rights.
I guess.
That's stupid. That needs to change.
I haven't decided. I popped one in, and then I was able to go immediately and get my defender bonus then.
Right, I've done it since then.
But then you have your 21-hour timer.
Right.
And so I'm wondering, do I just have to get into a gym in the 19th hour and 58th minute and hold it for 2 minutes and then pop it again?
Yeah.
That's kind of silly.
I don't get the point of controlling the gym. There's other than that 10 coin bonus that you can immediately get, I don't understand. And of course, it doesn't explain shit. So I may just be totally missing.
Yeah, we might be missing stuff. The problem is that everyone everywhere is sitting on gyms.
Yeah, everyone everywhere is sitting on all the gyms except in Area 51. One guy owns all of those. Because
Mr. President.
Yeah, really. But God, some people are pretty funny around that. But the game, ironically, will need to evolve if it's going to stick around for any length of time.
Oh, they plan on it. They already know that they're going to release other features for it just so they can fight attrition.
Yeah, and they're going to have to fight attrition hard.
It'll be really simple. Hey, you
can add anything.
You can trade now. Sold.
No, trade. I don't think they'll ever do trading.
I think they will.
I think trading is I think if they do, it's going to be you can only trade ones you've already captured.
You can only receive ones that you've already captured yourself.
Yeah,
You can't receive a new one.
Yeah. That's what I think.
I just imagine it'll cost you Pokecoins and Stardust or something, so,
That could also
the
be true.
economy isn't fucked
Yeah,
up.
but
so
I
that
don't think
it forces
it's
you
gonna
to
be.
continue to do something else so that you can get to that point.
I agree. Or maybe you have to be like level 30 to get it or something.
Yeah,
you know?
or something like that. And then when that flops or dies off or whatever, it's like, oh, now you can battle each other, and it's not like the gym battles, and you'll be like, oh shit, now I got to play this.
Battle each other,
and it might not be the same. It might not be Pokemon battles. It'll be something different, but it'll still be something else that you can do, and you'll be like, well, now I have
and
to
if you
play
can
for
use the
longer.
Android touch tips feature,
tips.
Make the tips touch.
you know that feature, right?
Yeah.
The Android phones, you put them back to back to
NFC.
transfer files.
You said tips.
I
yeah.
know, but
That's
that's
the
I'm
thing.
talking
That's why I
about-
made the penises
penis
kiss Brandon in
joke.
front of you.
It's
Well,
a
I
penis
was-
joke. Everybody explain to Brandon
I was
what dick
confused
jokes
because
are.
that's a thing in Japan. All phones have IR sensors and they touch tips.
Well, you point
Oh,
them
and we
at
found
each
out
other.
I have an IR sensor.
Yeah, and you have
Yeah,
an
we
IR
both have IR sensors.
So
Alright,
we can
well,
touch
sweet.
tips. Let's
Yeah, we
touch tip
can.
down.
Oh.
Yeah.
He
I
was
can't.
one and done. I was ready
I
for some
can't
more.
tip touch.
Oh yeah, I was spent. I'm asleep already. I rolled over.
Because that would be
Yeah.
would be pretty cool. Because that would be more nostalgia. Because that's how you used to battle with your Game Boys.
Yeah.
Well,
Touch tips.
link cable before that, buddy.
Well, after that was IR.
I never did that.
It was horrible, and didn't work very well.
Right. Well,
You'd
no,
have-
I remember
You
that.
have to like
I remember
hold
that
them
'cause I did
right
play.
at the right spot.
Yeah, I
and-
played silver, and I would try to trade. And like, if anybody moved the table at all or anything, like, and if you were battling that whole time, you had to keep them perfectly
Connection
there.
lost.
My mom
yeah.
would like pick up the Game Boy and be like, "We're not playing that. It's dinner time or whatever." And I'm like, "No." Yeah.
Every now and then you would like lose the connection at just the right time.
Yeah.
That their Game Boy says the trade happened and your Game Boy says it didn't, and the Pokemon's now gone.
Yeah, that was a funny thing. You could do a lot of tricks with that.
Yeah.
So you have any complaints about Go besides servers being down constantly?
Outside of the normal stuff, I mean, I didn't think I was really going to do it all that much. Like, I was like, I need to see what this is, because everyone likes it. We were talking about doing Pokemon, and honestly, for everyone's knowledge, I hadn't really Pokemon at all in my life until we tested your copies of the game to try to test the link cable.
Very old Pokemon testing, yes.
Yeah, that was a while back, and
Mhm.
we found out that you have a broken copy of Red that you need to fix. Probably just the battery inside
Yeah.
or whatever, but...
Yeah.
So this is actually the first Pokemon game I've quote owned end quote since it's free.
You didn't even
Right.
you didn't
I
even
didn't pay
get
for
it.
it.
You didn't even get it legitimately. You sideloaded it.
I got it early. I had it before everyone else that I knew.
You bastard.
At
So
last.
so I didn't think I was going to actually really play it all that much. I
Right.
just wanted to see what it was, play around with it for a second, and then be like any other game I get on my phone.
Be done
A
with
week
it.
later,
Yeah.
it's like whatever. But
Pokemon Go's been
Click,
released
click,
to me.
click, click. We're trying to click
we're trying
install
to
on his phone.
install on his
Nope.
Click, 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 click,
Nope.
click, click. Just
Nope.
punch him out.
punch him
Let
in the
hear
kidneys.
this. And goodbye, Brandon.
So I got it. I tried it, and I was like, this is really more fun than I thought it was going to be. And then all my friends started playing it, and now we have a community. I'm on like 3 Facebook groups, and I'm meeting with people here in the Reddit groups, and making a map for the people in my city, so they have a map of the areas that are Pokestops and gyms, and later where all the rare Pokemon have been seen. Hopefully, in the idea that they might actually respawn in those areas again, and then put them on there when it's confirmed.
I feel like a snob, but almost everybody I've met when I've been out Pokemoning has been really weird to me. Maybe it's me.
I think it's
Maybe-
you. I
maybe
think
I'm the one.
you attract weirdos. You're a weirdo magnet. Because
No,
everyone
apparently I
I've met-
repel weirdos because I'm like, oh hey, playing Pokemon? And they're like, uh-huh. I'm like, yeah, I know it's obvious, but that's called making small talk, dickhole. And I'll be like, yeah, you catch anything, good today? Like, same old shit. I'm like, okay. And I've had that conversation probably about 12 times.
That's
that exact conversation.
Well,
That's weird because every
why
time
don't you try changing up your conversation?
Yeah, every time that we've been out and we've been talking to people, we're just talking. They're just like, have you caught anything? Oh, there's a Tauros over here. Or like, there's a Parasect across the street right now. Turn it on right now if you're not looking at it. It's right there.
Yeah.
And everyone's been super cool. The dude we met today.
To be fair, I've never had anything cool going on when I talk to people.
Maybe
so.
you need to go hunting more.
Yeah, Carter and I stopped in the middle of... Sasha and I stopped in the middle of the street.
You should not be in the street.
On our...
Don't stop in the middle of the street.
on our road, which, has no sidewalks or traffic.
Or traffic.
And that's the only method of being anywhere is being on the road
Yeah.
because of all the hills. But we stopped there and walked over to the side, and like right behind this tree that was next to this woman who pulled in, which is why I stopped there, because I saw she was going by, and she pulled in her driveway, and Sasha and I were on our phones and we were catching a Dragonair, which was exciting at the time. And
it'll be exciting for me. I don't have one.
Yeah, the lady kind of she just got out and she was like, "Can I help you boys?" And I was like, we're just playing this really silly location-based game. So you have to like walk places. And she goes, "I've been hearing a little bit about that." She's like, "So you kids just love playing that, huh?" And I was like, this actually is very surprising. Like the top thing on phones right now, like all phones. And she's like, "Oh, really? It's really that widespread, though?" On command, a man in a truck pulls up to the right. And he stops, and he looks at us. He's got to be 65. And she's got to be around there. And he goes, "Y'all catching something good right here?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's a Dragonair. You know, if you want to pull over there," which was right in front of my house, you know, you can catch him. He's like right here, and he's like, "Oh man, I caught a Jigglypuff just down there. This has been really great. I've been really enjoying this game." And he pulls off, and the lady is just dumbstruck because here's somebody her age doing this, you know. And I was pretty dumbstruck too, honestly. It's a super old guy being like, "Gotta catch them all."
Well, no, I mean, I was
just covering for you. He didn't actually know what you're doing.
I was downtown where we go hunting a lot because there's a ton of stops and lures in that area, so it's just a prime place to just pick up a bunch of stuff, especially if we're just farming stuff for candy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like this lady walking like her teenager around, and she was playing and he was playing at the same time.
I've seen that a few times. That's
and
cool.
I think that's great. But yeah, I'm not sure if I've had any complaints apart from the obvious like, can I trade stuff? Can I fight other people stuff immediately? Features. And just as much as I do enjoy experiencing the game and learning how things work, there's a little bit of detail as what do I do while I'm here now? I found the gym, I fought them.
I need to know gym stuff, personally. That's the stuff that I'm like, I know how to fight them, even though I complain that they're a lot higher than me. I've won like 4 or 5 times.
You just have to keep fighting them and knock their prestige down.
Yeah.
You just keep fighting them, and no matter how you do on there, you chip away their prestige for damaging.
Things that I really dislike that are due to humans. People driving places in like 10-foot increments. Man, get out. Get out of your car. Stop wasting fuel.
Or blocking traffic.
Well,
they pull over.
Yeah, they pull over or get into a parking spot or something. But like on campus, man, I was followed by 3 Civics to each location I went, and I was biking it the whole way.
You know what that reminds me of? Is trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the parents who don't want their kids to go out with the group of other strangers.
Yeah, that's stupid. And that feels like kind of like this. And the other thing is people camping gyms.
They just
that feels like trolls. That just feels like the game has totally enabled really autistic, antisocial behavior and rewarding them directly for it. Because I was biking around, again, campus, and these people who were following me around on these Civics, one of them was at a gym, and I was like, "Oh, a gym. I'll take a gym. I can beat this one." And I beat it, and I took it, and I was instantly dethroned. And in fact, they actually just took it again, because if you beat it, there's this 10-second period where you need to get out of the menus before you can claim it as your own, and somebody else can just claim it.
Is it you defeated that one? Click it.
It's mine now. It doesn't care. It's like, oh, a Team Instinct guy beat this gym by himself. Team Valor claimed it. Or Mystic claimed it straight back. These guys were Mystic. And,
go Mystic.
Well, and so I was like, what the fuck? I just beat it. So then I beat it again, and they beat me again. It's like, so this is just attrition on who has most Pokemon. And we're just directly hurting each other. This is only helping the game.
Right.
We're getting a little bit of experience, but...
We're getting some experience and wasting all your potions.
And wasting all my potions and revives. And I was like, this is stupid. So I biked off, because they were just staring at me. And like literally, they were just staring at me out of their car, but you know, trying to look away and then be like, "Is he still there? Oh shit, he's still there." And I was like, this is stupid. So I biked off around the corner. Then they drove off, I beat them and took it again, and then I ran off. But then I biked in a way that I could see them, because I saw the direction they went, and I saw them stop in the middle of the street, pull a Yui, come back, and take it again. And when I was just ending for the night, I went all the way a circuit and I came back and took it just out of spite, just to be like, screw you guys. This is, but that's stupid. I hated that I felt that way, and I hated that they were doing that, and that's just the way the game works.
Yeah.
It's just a game, and there's no point. There's no benefit. There's no excitement. It's just like the main thing to do in the game is dumb. And so
I would agree that now that I've actually done the gym battles and sat there and watched like my gym get taken over almost immediately after claiming it,
yeah,
it's a little annoying that it's not something that lasts a little longer, has more benefit when I do it or something else, and that people are just sitting there and just waiting. It's like, I have 8 hours a day to farm in this area, and I'm going to protect this gym.
Yeah, they do that. I literally have seen some of the gyms on campus be owned by one man for days. Like, I think they live in the dorm room, and they just continuously take it. But I will say, I really hope they add multiple... I think you should be able to put your full stock of 6 people into that gym and defend it with 6 people and be like, I am the gym leader, and you have to defeat my team.
Would you have multiple teams for the multiple levels? Or because right now, each person can put in 1 for each level.
Right. Maybe that's where it'll be more fun that way.
Where I try to
I don't know.
defeat multiple teams.
I can think of a lot of ideas that I think would be fun, but it seems like they're going to try to push a little harder for microtransactions because I've noticed that I don't really need them. I could use lures and stuff, but
There's a few things I don't get except for at levels, like when I level up.
Right. And I like that.
Would be nice to get.
Incubators, maybe.
If I would spend a lot of money on another like permanent incubator.
I would probably spend $5.
Yeah, at least.
If you asked me $10, I'd be like, I hate you.
Well,
and I probably wouldn't buy it. But
I would spend $10 of Google Play rewards or Google Opinion rewards.
Right, cycle that Google money.
I wouldn't spend it myself, but Google Opinion rewards, $10. What the hell? Do it.
By the way, Google doesn't want my opinion.
Did you lie?
I've had it for a week now. Never lied about anything.
I have gone like a week without getting one, or 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden I get a bunch. And
okay.
Then nothing.
So it asked me some really silly things. I'll try to remember them, but it was like, what do you think about the war in Iraq? Are you paying attention? Hit 5 stars. Those are the 2 things I've been asked. And I'm like,
that's really weird.
And it asked me about my opinion. It wasn't the war in Iraq, but it was something. It was like a political opinion post. And it asked me the same question twice. And in the middle of it, it asked me, are you paying attention? Click 5 stars.
They give you, when you first sign up, they usually give you like a calibration.
A robot test.
Yeah, well, they give you a calibration question as well, which is supposed to sort of, because they do the surveys and they have to know which group you're in, what your age.
They asked me my
age,
is,
yeah. And then, at least for me, I didn't get surveys for a little bit because it was just sort of watching me move around and stuff. Also, if you have location sharing turned off, you're going to get a lot less surveys.
Yeah.
I have it on.
Yeah, make sure location survey. Like,
they ask me all the time about the surveys don't, but Google Maps or reviews or whatever it is ask me all the time, like, hey, was there a wheelchair ramp there or whatever?
Oh, that doesn't matter with location sharing.
Oh, does it not?
If you open maps, then it knows where you are. Or if you ask for directions or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you're just
so
wandering
you can take
around.
a look at my opinion rewards. That's awesome.
I asked my online gaming group about phone external batteries, and they sent me a picture of holding a car battery that says Energizer on it. That seems like me. They know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk sometime also about. We got to do another podcast real soon because an expansion came out for Armor 3.
Mm-hmm.
Want to talk about 4K monitors.
Mm-hmm.
And want to talk about Skyward Sword and how much I hate the mini games, but really love the narrative that they set up, and it really tears me because I want to just grind my face through the dirt instead of actually play the game. But I like watching the game, and I'm considering just watching YouTube videos of the game.
Don't give it all away right now. I mean, we got to hear your opinions.
Yeah, we need that. We need that on the podcast.
Put it in the sheet.
I will.
All right, so that's been our Pokemon Go episode.
Slight AR stuff.
Well, some questions here. I think while we're still here, because
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about AR, we touched briefly kind of on VR because we were talking about that there. What do you guys think? Like, did we kind of just miss the opportunity with AR and just skipping over to VR? Is that going to be the thing,
No.
or do you think AR
No, I
will
don't
be a
think
thing
so.
eventually?
AR
Do
hasn't
you
had.
really think that it's going to? Well, I mean, do you think in the recent future that's going to be a thing, or is people running around playing Pokemon Go in public just too weird for people?
No, this is gonna be the boom that AR needs.
Yeah.
Like things happen in
VR is already having its boom too.
Yeah, like things you get a killer app, and then you get a lot of development on it.
Right.
Ingress wasn't a killer app.
No.
Pokemon Go, and that's why. While I'm not gonna play it, and I'm not particularly interested in, and I don't think it was done very well. I'm not gonna play Pokemon Go, but I'm glad that a lot of people are playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
because a lot of new people are getting into AR, and a lot of new young people are gonna switch career paths and say, this is really cool. I want to do AR, and so you're gonna have a lot of new people making AR, new AR games and stuff like that, which is gonna spur AR technology, Tango, stuff like that. So I think because of Pokemon Go, especially if they release a Pokemon Go version that is Tango supported, we're probably going to start seeing a whole lot more Tango phones. Tango's going to become cheaper, stuff like that. So I think that AR is just hitting its stride right now.
might be. I hope it is.
Yeah.
I never ever would say I don't want to watch technology be explored and succeed.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would ever say that. Also, to all the stupid people who have randomly been posting about NASA not understanding the ocean floor, it's because it's the aeronautics in space.
Oh, that's. I saw that post there, and
Those are
I've
troll
seen that
posts.
post
They're not real.
several times.
They're not real.
but people share it.
No, they're not real. They're not real.
The originators aren't real. People are latching on to it who believe it.
I agree.
You have headphones on. You can't put your fingers in your ear.
I agree. It's a troll post. I know a lot of people who don't actually feel that it's a troll post, and I feel sorry for them.
No, people. I
Yeah.
refuse to believe people
natural
are
selection
that
has-
stupid.
Brandon, just
Oh, this is a really cool book. Sorry, there's a
sweet Pokedex.
there's a gold and silver
Brandon,
Pokedex here.
always remember this. Do you know how stupid you think people are on average? It's pretty stupid, right?
Yeah,
Half the population is dumber than that.
I know. That's not how averages work.
Yeah, it's actually exactly how it works.
What about the mean though?
No.
How
The
mean
mean is different.
How mean are people?
The mean is different. The average is that.
No, because there could be some people who are incredibly smart
Do you know what one of the
or
only things I
incredibly
remember?
dumb, throwing your average off.
No, it doesn't throw the average. I mean, it'll throw where the average lies, but the
All right, we're
people
not
are still within
discussing
the
averages at
average.
the end of our podcast.
The mean will be different by that.
If everyone's at 51, and then one guy is at like negative 1,000.
Thank you for listening to
All right,
Behind
that
the
brings your
Podcast.
average down.
I've been Weston, the voice.
I'm Moose.
We did this at
The
the
man.
beginning.
And that's Brandon, the semantic.
That's right.
Y'all have a good night.
I'm cutting this out.
We're going to
You
bed.
shouldn't. You really shouldn't.
We're going to bed. It's
3.
fucking
Almost
3.
Have fun at work, boys. Woo-hoo!
I don't work till 2.
This is Weston the unemployed.
Still gonna be.
Give me a job.
Still gonna be up at 7 in the morning.
People give me jobs every day.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Leave.